Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shade. It's been a while. It's been a while since I made a video. I'm doing better. Heartburn's gone. The side effects of heartburn is you feel like you got hit by a truck. So, recovering from that takes a few days. But I should be making videos again on Wednesday, maybe? Or sometime next week. We'll see. But anyways, the stock market right now pulling back. So, there's a lot of opportunity. You want to buy your favorite stocks as they get cheaper. Remember, if stocks are falling together, it's not falling because the company itself is trash. The whole market is coming down as a whole. It's nothing more than opportunity. Now, I think HIMS had bad earnings, or was it NVTS? Or maybe both, I don't know. I don't really keep track of either. But I heard they dropped. I think NVTS is down like, 17%? And the other one dropped 10%, HIMS. And someone did ask me, Jeff asked me, like, hey, are these a buy? And I'm like, I don't know if they're a buy exactly, but I would definitely rethink buying NVTS at least. And HIMS, I don't really care for the healthcare sector, quite frankly. I don't really care for it. HIMS, Oscar, and I forgot the other one. There's another healthcare stock that screwed me over. Like, the price action just isn't reliable. Whereas semiconductors, their price action is very reliable. So I'd rather trade reliability and what's consistent over something that fakes me out. So I got faked out by HIMS. It was inside a wedge and it broke down, but then it skyrocketed. So it faked me out, and that's just garbage. So I don't care for HIMS. I don't really care for NVTS, we'll see. We'll see. I know they lowered guidance for next quarter. So, take that as you will. You could see it as a buying opportunity. I think NVTS would be a good dip buying opportunity, but it's risky, right? It's a risky dip buying opportunity. I'm not buying that. I'm not ordering that garbage. Once you have your bread and butter, you just start trading that. There's no reason to trade anything else at that point. So, Mara stock, we're accumulating that, and we're accumulating a bunch of other ones, but it's really the big swing we're going for is Mara stock. Because when you run a Discord, here's the thing. For those of you who have been following me for years, being successful, having a successful Discord is about giving people those little dopamine hits, right? Like, for example, if you're playing Mario Galaxy or Super Mario 64 or what's the new one, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Odyssey, all those kinds of like kids games, if you're playing those, you'll notice that the game revolves around the player getting a star or a moon or a banana, and it makes a little fun jingle, right? And the kids get like a dopamine hit from that, like, oh my god, I found a banana, I found a power star or power moon. And little kids get that dopamine hit, and then they go find another one. Oh my god, another little dopamine hit. So it's all up here. It's all in the brain. And so when you run a Discord, a trading community, your goal is it's to give people that dopamine hit. So every day I try to make sure that we make like 20 to 50 bucks. Obviously, if the market's coming down day after day after day, or for 2 weeks in a row, there's not much I can do about that. We just accumulate for when inevitably we pump for like 2 months or 3 months in a row. But it's about giving people those dopamine hits, those little wins, those $20 to $50 wins every day, so they get that little dopamine hit and they stick around longer. Also, swing trading, the goal is to capture 50 to 100% return on one swing trade, which is right now we're focused on Mara because it had good earnings and it dumped anyways, so it's nothing more than opportunity. But when you're running a Discord, again, the goal is to give people those little dopamine hits, right? Oh my god, I just made 20 to 50 bucks, in the first hour of market open. And then over the course of 2 to 3 months, they get that 50 to 100% win. They get that 50 to 100% return on Mara stock, Riot stock, or whatever the case may be. So they get those little dopamine hits, and then they get the big dopamine hit when they see the stock that they've been holding for months pay out 50 to 100%. So they either turn 10k into 15k, or they double their money, and they get the big dopamine hit there, and then that lets them in their head, they want to stick around longer that way, because it's like, whoa, I get, I make 20 to 50 bucks here and there, and then I get that big win, and the account obviously grows because of that big win. So when you're running a Discord, the whole point is to give people that dopamine hit. And then the big one, right? If there was like a chart here, it's like little dopamine hit, little dopamine hit, little dopamine hit, then big dopamine hit, and then, comes back and rinse and repeat. So it's all up here. That's why my Discord has a 90% plus win rate, because it's important to give people that feeling of, always winning and very rarely losing. Because people don't like losing. People don't like losing. They don't. I don't like losing. Nobody likes losing. Losing feels bad. And that's why bag holding exists. Because people would rather hold the bag than lose. Because it just doesn't feel good. And there's money on the line. So running a Discord forces you to be a better trader. Much cleaner. Much more technical. You can't really be making mistakes. Because no one's going to want to join a Discord where... like if you run a Discord and your win rate is like 50%, that's garbage. Like 50% of the time you lose, like that's, if you join a Discord and the owner tells you, hey, we make more money than Shades Discord, but you have to take like 5 losses out of 10. Some people are gonna be like, hell no, like, and people are gonna hold the bag because they just don't want to lose. Losing feels bad. So even though they can join a Discord that makes more technically, because they have to lose 5 times, and people just hate that, they'd rather go with Shades where they only lose like every now and then. And they feel good because they're always getting that dopamine. They're just constantly winning. So running a community, it's more about, again, making people feel good, right? And losing as little as possible. I used to be more risky back before I started the Discord. I would play it riskier. But when you actually start running a Discord trading community, like you kind of have to realize, like, hey, there's a lot more at stake now. It's not just my money now. It's other people's money at stake. Like, you can't just, like, I used to play calls and penny stocks all the time. Now we rarely do those because it's just too risky when it's not just your money on the line anymore. So running a Discord community, it's kind of like a fraud check. It's a good fraud check, because if your strategies work and you're actually profitable and you're not a fraud, then you should be able to run a Discord. And because all you're doing is just alerting your plays, so if you're so confident in your strategy and you're going to make people money, you can run a Discord and it'll be successful. But you gotta know what you're doing. If you're only making money because it's a bull market and everything just keeps going up, that's a whole nother story. Usually those people get fraud checked towards the end of it, or at some point when we go into a downtrend, or if we get another bear market out of nowhere. So, because you never know what's going to happen in the markets. So playing calls is risky because you just don't know what's going to happen. Whereas shares, there's no expiration date. You can hold. So that's why I don't really play options anymore. And I don't really trade penny stocks at this point. Maybe like 1 or 2 that are reliable. But yeah, so if you're looking to if you want to take your trading to the next level, if you think you have something that's profitable, that actually works, and you're not just a fraud, or you want to fraud check yourself, start a Discord. I'll promote it and be like, go check this guy's Discord. It's free. Go join it. And Joey Shaw, I'm looking at you, because Joey Shaw, he loves to play the calls on Ethereum and Bitcoin or whatever. He plays it very risky, and sometimes I wonder, like, if he had ran a Discord community, would he really alert the plays that he's making for himself? Because it's one thing to trade for yourself, and you might be okay with taking risk for yourself, but once you have to start learning for others, it's like your win rate has to naturally be higher, because people just aren't going to stick around to be losing. So, and when you run a community, it's all on you. Like, your reputation's on the line. Everything's on the line. You need to be good at this shit. If you're just copying someone online, just copying someone else's trades, and you go off to start your own Discord, it's going to show that you don't know what the hell you're doing. It shows. It's a fraud check, complete fraud check. That's what that is. again, it's kind of like playing Street Fighter. If you're playing Street Fighter, if me and Joey Shaw are playing Street Fighter, you know, nothing's at stake, nothing's on the line to whatever, right? But if me and him are playing for a million, if we know for a fact that at the end of, you know, this match, someone's gonna walk away with a million. Now there's a million on the line. Now there's a lot at stake. Now we're gonna play it safer. We're gonna play it less risky because we know what's at stake now. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. There was a big tournament a couple of days ago or yesterday, and you know, one of the players in grand finals fell apart. He just completely fell apart. He just didn't know what to do. Because again, it's one thing to be playing, you know, for fun online ranked, but once you're playing, you know, for a million or a big, you know, in grand finals, playing for that big the big prize, I forgot what the big trophy that they have, that they give out. Once something's at stake, that's no longer just your money, but other people's money. Like, you naturally want to have a higher win rate, and you'll improve as a trader. But it comes at the cost of, like, you know, you have to be real with yourself. Because when I started my Discord, I was like, damn, this is a fraud check. I feel like a fraud, because it's like, because my Discord wasn't at a 90% plus win rate back then. It wasn't. We were kind of on and off. So it's a real, starting a Discord is the way to go. It just forces you to be better, trade cleaner. So Joey Shaw, if you're watching this, you should start your own Discord and start your own free Discord and just really think about, would you really alert all the shit that you've been alerting for yourself? Because once other people's money is on the line, it's like, oh, I kind of need to play it safer, better entries, play it cleaner, etc. You know, same thing with Street Fighter. If you're playing for a million, all of a sudden you're playing it safer. Nobody wants to press buttons because nobody wants to, you know, get countered. Nobody wants to take the risk. Nobody wants to press first because there's so much on the line. So, I don't know. I highly recommend anyone who wants to take their trading to the next level, start a Discord, make it free, and just start inviting people. That's how I started, and it was a complete, it was a good thing. It made my trading so much better, cleaner. It took 2 years, I would say, for me to get to where I'm at, and now it's just kind of, I'm on cruise control to the point where I have it down to a system, right? I know, like, hey, let's give people, you know, let's give members a little dopamine hit with the small wins, and then the big dopamine hit with the big swing trade, 50 to 100% win, rinse and repeat. So the only reason I even know this is because of the experience that I have. And I've never really thought of it as, you know, dopamine hits, but that's what it is. You want to give people that dopamine hit. And because people never lose, they go tell their friends, oh my God, with this guy Shades, I always win. I rarely lose. And, you know, they brag, because people like to brag, right? No one's going to brag about, you know, hey, I lose 5 times and then the other 5 times I win, but I still end up profitable. Again, it's more, I know that sounds crazy, but people would rather make less but feel really good about the fact that they don't really lose or rarely lose than make more and have to lose more trades, which I know sounds crazy, but again, it's all up here. It's all psychology. But you only learn that from running a Discord. So it's not like I knew this day one, but after like years of running the Discord, I know exactly how it all works. So we play it safer in exchange for high win rate. You can play it riskier and make more, but if it doesn't work out, I don't know. I've never tried playing it risky. Like, I don't really alert calls or anything like that. It's just, no, not worth it. So, Joey Shaw, I implore you, please start your own Discord. I think that'll take you to, you know, a whole nother level. You'll go from a diamond rank trader to, like, let's say master rank. If I had to assign like rankings, like, you'll go that next level naturally. Anyways, that's it for the video. Just be careful with like frauds and scams out there. There are people who just start a Discord and they alert other people's alerts. So they steal other people's alerts and essentially pretend it's like their alerts. And so essentially what they're doing is they're trying to skip the process of actually learning how to trade, right? It took me years to get to where I'm at, like 4 years, I would say. So someone that's a fraud, a scammer, They want to skip those 4 years and go straight into just having a Discord and alerting and making money. They're looking to make their money off of the memberships, not so much off of trading. So they don't learn the skill. They just learn to promote themselves and get people to come in, and they just steal alerts. It's kind of, I guess it would be like kind of like getting a degree. Like, instead of actually taking the 4 years to get a degree, they just want to get a fake one and fake it till you'll make it, basically. So yeah, I don't know. With regards to the market, just buy the dip, guys, on good companies. I don't know about NVTS or HIMS, don't really care for it. Just stick to semiconductors and anything Bitcoin related, and I think you're fine. Those continue to just go up on the yearly time frame. It's not that hard to win in the markets, guys. You just got to have that patience and discipline. Be okay with making less if it means you're going to have a higher win rate and get that sweet dopamine hit. I don't get the dopamine hits anymore. I get my dopamine hit not from the wins, but I get my dopamine hit when the stock market crashes. That's when I get excited. That's when I'm like, hell yeah, I'm excited when that happens, because I know I get to buy my favorite stocks real cheap. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.